Before I begin, let me just say one thing. Bring back Knights of the Old Republic, you cowards. Hey everybody, it's Ryan. Over the next few weeks, I want to discuss some of my favorite Star Wars games of all time, given how much news we've gotten about Star Wars games lately. Ubisoft making an open world Star Wars game, and it appears that Lucasfilm Games is back, consolidating that license under one roof, or one brand name, multiple roofs. You knew what I meant. It just seems that they are shopping around the license to different studios, seeing who wants to make their own Star Wars game. Hopefully, it's good stuff, and I'm excited. Before I begin or go any further, I wanted to mention that I changed the name of the channel to Super Ryan Games. The only reason for that is because it's a lot easier this way. It's a lot easier. It just is. Like, for example, if someone asks me what my channel name is, or you want to tell your friends, or friend, or maybe you're my girlfriend or something and you're just recommending my channel, you could just tell them it's Super Ryan Games now. I got a cool new logo. We have a new channel name. That does not mean anything's going to change really on your end. You're just going to see the same old content reviews, content, impressions, thoughts, concerns, news, strategy videos even. We're going to keep doing it all. It's just going to be under a different banner or a different name. That was our housekeeping segment of the video. Now, let's get into the actual video. Lucasfilm Games is back. I wanted to talk about my favorite Star Wars games of all time. I wanted to do multiple videos just so I can specifically talk about each one individually. There is a lot of great Star Wars games out there, especially in the early 2000s. It just seems like they could not miss. It really was, in a sense, a golden era of Star Wars gaming. You had Knights of the Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic 2, the OG Battlefronts 1 and 2, the Jedi Knight series, and a little lesser known title, or at least as far as I'm concerned, one that is oft not discussed, Empire at War.
Damage. I need help. Yeah. Target confirmed. I'll take care of it.
Reinforcements en route.
Empire at War is an RTS game, real-time strategy, in 2006. So I realize that might throw you off right away. That's fine. Not everyone's going to be into real-time strategy games. I am myself really not that into them. But if it's Star Wars, the fact that it's Star Wars, I should say, it was what gave me kind of like the interest in it originally, and I love it. It's one of my favorite Star Wars games to this day. What do? You build up forces on the Empire side or the Republic side, recruiting new members and whatnot. You build bases, call in reinforcements, build space stations, ships and barracks and buildings. You recruit higher level soldiers, recruits, people, and you neutralize heroes for a limited time. Heroes are characters that are either from the Star Wars universe or just in the game who are higher ranking, who have special abilities that they can do, like maybe they can steal credits or they can neutralize certain aspects of certain worlds. And the game is just overall just very, very addicting, and honestly, it gives you the power to command your own army in a way that not really any other Star Wars game has since. You'll build fleets, these massive fleets of just like dozens of ships and dozens of troops. You'll have a ground army and you'll have a space army. You'll go into space, you'll go down onto the ground, and you'll take over planets one by one. That is honestly the addicting part of this game, is just commanding your own army and just kind of using them to whatever end you want, whether you're on the Empire side or on the Republic side. And if you're like me and you don't necessarily like the pace of a strategy game where it's just kind of like slow and sleepy in some cases, it's very cool that you can just hit fast forward. Fast forward everything.
Ready to engage. Target in sight.
Your progression relies on you capturing more planets, more resources you get, and forces, and you can even leave forces behind to defend other planets because, let me tell you, those planets, they get captured real quick if you're not protecting them. Or my favorite thing to do is to overburden, or go overboard, I should say. Overburden, that doesn't make sense. Overboard, go overboard and build one large mega fleet and destroy your enemies in just sheer numbers alone. There's no strategy involved. That's the great thing, is that if you want to take your time and have a tactical approach, you can do that. If you don't, you can up the difficulty and be a little more strategical if you wanted to. But you can just make it a sheer numbers game, put the game on easy mode and just go crazy and just add as many forces as possible and destroy enemies just with sheer numbers alone. Numbers, it's a numbers game. It's not exactly a numbers game, but you know what I meant. Then you have campaign, which is just your story mode, or your single player mode. You have Galactic Conquest, which is more of a free reign mode. You just kind of go around and capture planets. Then you have skirmish battles, which I guess I haven't really toyed too much with. It's more just like, I guess, doing specific little missions and stuff. And there is multiplayer support. I've never had the multiplayer, tried it, but it seems cool. Or at least it's cool that it has that functionality. Also, did I mention there's space battles, and then you go into ground, and then you can use the heroes to assist you? I did? Oh, well, yeah, you can do that. As far as campaign goes, the story itself is not super compelling, and it's not the most interesting story that you'll see in a Star Wars game. If you want something like that, you'll probably have to go to either a Knights of the Old Republic or even a Fallen Order from a few years ago. It's really mostly that its gameplay is just super addicting, even if the story isn't. The gameplay itself, to be honest, it isn't super deep, really. I mean, you're just kind of capturing planets, then upping the amount of forces you put through. So you're not leveling up per se or progressing in a traditional sense. Like, I guess it's not like most thorough or the most thorough RTS game out there, but it's definitely not too hard to understand or complex, which makes it good in a way. It even has an expansion called Forces of Corruption, where you get the pirate faction. That's a third faction into the game, which means you also get a new campaign mode, new assets like buildings to build and space stations, and as well as new ships and soldiers to recruit. There's also mod support, which means that you can add in things that you think the game is lacking, or even add more content if the content that's there is not sufficient for you. I was just looking at Steam today, and there's plenty of content in the workshop alone, where you can add in content from Return of the Jedi, post Return of the Jedi, or even more content from the end of the Clone Wars kind of stuff, which is just really cool to have a game that's over 10 years old and it just has mod support still to this day. What that means is for $10, you're getting 2 campaigns in a sense, even though they're kind of short. You're getting basically a whole game plus an expansion pack, plus you have all these mods that are going to be available to you, that if you want to add more content or more utilities and stuff to the game or more features, you can. Also, as you're no doubt gonna be able to tell, it's obviously not the best looking game out there, which means also that it runs pretty well regardless of whether or not you have the strongest PC imaginable. It runs very well on mine, but this one's newer. It ran well on an older PC. This game just runs well regardless, and it has a great aesthetic to it, a great feel. It just feels like Star Wars, it sounds like Star Wars, and it is Star Wars. Now, I don't know much about audio, but it is what it is, man. It sounds really good. Everything about this game is just really great from a I like Star Wars perspective, whatever that means. So that's all I wanted to say. All the other Star Wars games, they have their place, but this is one that is not as often discussed, and I wanted to bring this up into conversation, see what you think. So now, obviously, this is the end of the video, so I throw it out to you. Let me know in the comments what your favorite Star Wars video game is, whether it's a popular one, a not so popular one, or even just a guilty pleasure of yours, like you know it's not good, but it's still good to you. And always remember, give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, give it a thumbs down if you didn't. I'm not above criticism. And subscribe if you're feeling crispy. Crispy? I don't know, guys. I'm shooting blanks today. Anyway, thanks for watching. My name is Ryan, and I love you all. I think. Maybe? I don't know.